All right, I'm Chris Avina. I'm here with another episode of American Outdoor News with Scott Perkins and Drew Blake from Connect Outdoors. Guys, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having us, Chris.
Now, Scott, you are the president and founder of Connect Outdoors.
That is correct, buddy. Yeah.
Drew, you are the operations director?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How did you start this, Scott?
Several years ago, I was kind of getting burnt out on hunting, to be honest, believe it or not. And I had to find a new avenue because my love for the outdoors was so big, I couldn't just stop, so I started just taking some friends and kids and stuff like that and helping them get their first turkeys or deer or whatever. And that was fun and great and everything, but it wasn't quite what I was looking for. So I went through a whole kind of a metamorphosis, if you will, over time, and ended up working with some folks that were helping blind people. And I got introduced to my first blind person, and I took him on a turkey hunt here, and man, the emotion that came out of him being successful. The guy had turkey hunted for about 25 years with vision and lost his vision 5 years prior to this hunt. Thought he'd never hunt again, never have a chance with that turkey. Took him out in 2 hours and we had him his first turkey ever.
Now,
I was hooked right there. And my wife, being the sweet soul she is, got behind me on this 100%. And that's a big plus right there.
It is. That's huge.
And she's been supporting us the whole time, and we started just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's getting so big that I can't run with it all. There's a huge need for what we do out there, both on the veteran side and the blind and visually impaired side. And it kept growing and growing. And I had to get somebody in here, and I've known Drew for a couple of years, and I knew he was a good, solid guy. And to do what we do, I'm almost going to put it in a nutshell real quick. You have to be a very selfless person. To give your time and your great spots and all that to somebody, that would never have a chance to do it if we didn't do that, So I'm going to just start off by saying that Drew, I'm not going to, blow your head up or anything. It takes special people to do what we do is what I'm saying. And when you
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Then I just fell in love with it. I invited Drew up last spring for a turkey hunt to just come see how we do things. He's been watching, from the sidelines for a year or so and watching, and he was kind of intrigued by it. And I think it really got to him and blew him away. And I'll let him tell you about that experience maybe, and that'll help.
Sure. Drew, is that a lot to take in initially when you step into this role?
It is. It was one of the best hunting trips I've ever had. It was a long ride up there from North Carolina, but once we got up there, it was I struggled to explain it. It was one of the most enjoyable, most difficult things that I've ever done. Just sitting there, from my perspective, trying to get this person a bird, get this person a turkey. The first day you're sitting there under so much pressure trying to get this person a turkey that comes in. Then the first day didn't work out. We had a great hunt. Birds came in. It just didn't work out to get a shot on. So you're playing over those events all night in your head. So you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
The next morning you wake up tired. You're focused on trying to get this bird the second day. The second day it doesn't work out again. So the third day it just wears on you, but it's an enjoyable wear. You're on guard all the time, just focused, trying to get this bird for this blind person. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but it's a whole different enjoyable thrill that I can't really explain. I mean, it's so much different than just going and hunting by yourself.
Now, how do you help line up the shot?
Honestly, Scott has a lot more success than I do. I'm still in the learning phase, but we have some really advanced sights to where we can actually look over the shoulder of the blind person and line them up and tell them when to pull the trigger. The guy that I actually took, I hate to say it, but he was probably one of a kind person. He could smell the turkeys coming in, and
Wow.
I didn't even have to line him up. He was following the turkeys as they came into range.
That's amazing.
Chris,
It-
you have no idea about this guy. I'm just going to mention him by name because he won't care. His name's Mark Teeman. He's out of Las Cruces, New Mexico, and I've hunted with him all over the country several times now. And he is next level stuff. This guy can smell stuff. He, like Drew said, he can smell turkeys before you'll see them. Okay, he's done that with me deer hunting. He'll tap me on the leg in the blind, and he'll point in a direction that he smells them from, and then he'll hold up how many there are. And I'm telling you, again, and he is exactly right, and it's amazing. I mean, amazing. So
That's insane.
he can even tell you what sex they are.
yeah,
Wow. Because turkeys are smart birds. They got good vision. You know, they're a tough hunt with vision.
all right. But we've had some pretty good success on that. I think the biggest thrill of turkey hunting is the blind individual can hear them. You know, they're getting louder. They're coming in there,
Yeah.
gobbling, you know, tearing it up, and those guys just get tore up, and it's some of the greatest stuff you'll ever see. But I mean, a blind person, a lot of people don't think about this, doesn't hide emotion like we do. They don't look at themselves every day in the mirror or nothing. So when they're happy, it's 115%, you know, up front, right out in your face, and it's incredible. It's incredible. It really is.
Well,
I'm addicted to it if you can't tell.
no, it shows. It shows. But what programs do you have, you know, that you bring these people out into?
Drew, you want to pick that one up?
Yeah, I can. So we've developed what we're calling the 3 R's. It's recruit, retrain, and reacclimate. And what we're doing through those programs, each one of those have their own special programs. The recruit is through a vet-to-vet program. So we're bringing in veterans that may be blind, may not be blind, just any type of veteran that we can get. And we pair them up with another veteran that may be going through the similar disabilities or issues that they're having. Through that event or through that program, they're also training to be a guide for blind people. They're learning how to lead the blind people around, but not to lead them, but not lead them to a point where the blind person is independent, but can also rely on their guide.
Yeah.
As that veteran graduates from that program, they move into what we call the blind mentoring program. So that veteran is paired up with a blind person. And at that point, they start attending hunting and fishing events with us together. From there, we move them into our blind or visually impaired in the outdoors program, to where they hunt with us, but they also hunt by themselves. And that's the biggest thing that we want to accomplish is
independence.
Yes. Yeah, we want them to be here with us, but we also want them doing events on their own. We also want them to be able to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, do you want to go hunting today? Do you want to go fishing today? Do you need anything?" That's the type of relationships that we're trying to form with these
So it's
people.
like I don't want to say a training program. It's like an apprenticeship / mentorship that they go.
Exactly. The way that I look at it is it's not a mentee mentor program. It's a mentor. They're both mentoring each other.
So it's like a buddy system. You know, they're a support system for each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, what type of adventures do you bring them on?
Scott, do you want to take that one?
We've got turkey hunting lined up, deer hunting lined up. Drew's wanting to do some hiking and stuff. We're going to do a lot of fishing, both offshore, inshore, and freshwater, right, Drew? I think we're going to do a lot of that in North Carolina. And you know, we've got, oh Lord, we've got some good stuff coming up. We've got a lot of stuff in the works on top of all that. That's the actual stuff we are doing right now that is on the boards, in the works, and you know, plans are being made right now. So we've got a lot of stuff on the back burners as well coming up that we're pretty excited about. We're going to be working with some blind schools around the country, kind of bringing the outdoors to the children. Kind of a little ordeal, adventure day thing we're going to be doing with some of the blind kids. It's going to be pretty cool. So those are just a few things right off the top. I don't want to take up too much time and get too much detail about everything.
We got plenty of time.
Right.
But all right, let me take a couple of minutes to acknowledge my sponsors, Underwood Ammo. Always a standard of excellence, fantastic ammo. I don't shoot anything else. Pyro Putty and Phone Scope, always innovative, great products that you should always have in your pack. And Hunt of a Lifetime. We're gonna hear from them in a second. We'll be right back.
We love our children. We protect them. We guide them. We prepare them for life in the world. With all that we do, from deep in our hearts, we cannot control all things. Life-threatening illnesses and disabilities affect far too many of our children each year. While we cannot change the circumstance, we can make dreams come true. Dreams to provide hope, to provide spiritual healing and strength, to provide moments of happiness and relief in the hardest of times. We can give a glimmer of light and hope in a time of darkness and despair. Join huntofalifetime.org to help make dreams come true, to provide hope for children with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Hunt of a Lifetime is a nonprofit organization fulfilling dreams for hunting and fishing trips to youth 21 and under with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Visit huntofalifetime.org to learn how you can make a difference.
Okay, and we're back with Scott Perkins, the president and founder of Connect Outdoors, and Drew Blake, the operations director of the organization. And we're talking about the different adventures, the hunts, the fishing, the day-to-day operations. Now, you have 2 chapters. What made you think of a chapter system?
That would probably be Drew. He's the one that came up with that. So.
This is a pass the buck
really,
type of
to
interview.
be honest, Chris, it just made sense. It just made sense. With his geographical location in mind, I'm in great whitetail country. He's in great fishing area and deer hunting and turkey and everything down that area, So, I mean, it just made sense to, we can do twice as much work and, he can work his area, I can work my area, and we can help each other in both, So it was kind of like that. We're looking to expand. We want to be all over the country before it's over. I want this thing to take off because that connection Drew was speaking of earlier with the vets and the blind people, that's a very important connection. We went over that lightly, but I think we ought to circle back around and talk about that for just a minute. That does a couple different things. A lot of the folks we work with in the blind community have had vision and lost at some point and some tragedy along their way and whatever happened, and they're coming out of rehabs and stuff, and it's kind of in the same realm as vets coming back, and coming out of service. They're coming out of rehab, kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
as both of those get the rehabilitation process, if they're going through it together, that creates bonds. And when we have these big hunts, when we do our big ones up here in Indiana, and we have several vets here and several blind folks, all, we're kind of letting just nature take its course. They'll buddy up just by themselves. It's just human nature, you're going to buddy up with people that you like, right? So I mean,
yeah.
And so that's where that's kind of at until it gets to a more formal point where we'll be getting stats and stuff, records in of people and vetting these other organizations. Some of them we're working with are vetting these guys for us, and that's for our protection and theirs. I mean, that's just a good common practice. You should do it. And if you're doing a nonprofit, that's a very good practice. So,
you want to know who you're dealing with.
Exactly. You just and we do the same for the blind folks. Because see, a lot of blindness is due to another illness. It's not usually just your eyes went bad. Something else is wrong. Somewhere and there's a malfunction. So we need to know about that kind of stuff. What you're physically able to do. But some of these hunts are a little bit rigorous. I mean, we're not trying to kill anybody because we don't want to kill ourselves either, out there hiking up mountains and stuff.
You're there to enjoy yourself and have a good time and
exactly. So
have them enjoy it. You don't want it to be a grueling experience.
Right. You don't want to, burn them out the first day or anything. So we try to take it easy on them, and we manage our properties very well. That is, we do an extensive management program on all the properties we hunt, and it benefits us. I'm sure you've seen all our stuff we do on Facebook
Sure,
and
sure.
stuff. We got to have critters around, it's just the way it is. The big work on the food plots, the feeding programs and all that, all that water sources, everything that goes into that, creating a good hunt for that moment when that guy's here. It's a lot of work on that end of it. But I enjoy that part of it as well.
Well, hunting is hunting. It doesn't mean you're going to come out with a trophy every time,
No, that's true. That's true. But these guys come from long distances, and it's, it's a lot sweeter at the end of the day. Let me tell you that.
Sure it is.
And they have a great time, and every one of them will tell you they don't care if they kill anything or not. They could care less.
Now, what is therapeutic about the outdoors for, the people that you take out?
I think camaraderie is the biggest thing we can give them. And we're pretty big sticklers on treating them just like normal people. They don't want any special treatment. We don't want to give them. We want them actually to come right up to the point of being out of their comfort level, because that's good. It's letting them build self-esteem. It's just independence, everything, self-confidence, all that's in there. All that plays a part. And I think getting them out there, and maybe letting them listen to your footsteps and follow you instead of leading you, sight guiding them with your elbow. That's the way we lead. That's the way they want led. You stick your elbow out, they grab your elbow, and you take off. And it's pretty cool. But I like to challenge them a little bit. It's good for them, and they love it. They eat it up. They love it. They don't want to be coddled. I don't allow coddling. Blind people fall down. They're used to it. They do it all the time, man. It's an awful thing to think about. And I've seen them take some pretty bad spills, but they jump right back up because they're used to it. They're blind, And,
Sure.
And one other thing about our hunts I want to touch on too, we don't do a lot of organizations I see around, they do 3-day hunts. They're in and out, done. I like to run mine 5 to 6 days, and I'll tell you why. I just think about this for a minute. I'm going to lay this out. And in a blind man's world, you're going to go to an airport. You're going to get on a machine that you may have never seen in your life. You're going to fly across the country to meet people that you've never met before.
Yeah.
That trip right there alone is huge for most blind folks. It is. Just that portion of the trip. Then they get here, they've got sights, smells everywhere all around, and their senses are just running rampant for about a day or two. That's why I run my hunts so long, because I want them to get here, calm down, get acclimated to their surroundings, calm down, and then we can go enjoy it.
Okay.
That makes sense. So,
Yeah.
and I find it works a lot better as far as therapeutic. You know what I mean? So I get more bang for my buck that way.
Sure. Now,
And
Drew, you run the fishing ends for the most part.
yes, sir. Yes,
What
sir.
type of fishing trips do you plan for the people?
Well, right now we've got a trip coming up inshore, off near shore, North Carolina fishing, where we'll target flounder, redfish, speckled trout, and then venture in that 10 to 15 mile range offshore, where we're targeting mahi, king mackerel, Spanish mackerel, small sailfish, barracudas, bottom fish such as triggerfish, sea bass, pretty much anything that we can target on that trip we're going to, depending on the weather. The good thing is where we're going to fish is if we can get offshore, we can get offshore and go after those bigger fish. If not, we can stay back in the bays and the sound and target those inshore, nearshore species.
Now, every trip is different, whether you have vision, you don't have vision. There's always an unknown. Has there ever been a mishap out on a trip?
Scott, do you want to take that one?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I don't think we ever have had a mishap.
I can't think of one either.
All right, so you guys cover your bases and you make sure everybody's safe. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
goal.
Safety and compliance is a big deal with us. We have to have for insurance and stuff like that, So You got to watch what you're doing, and we don't put people in situations. And every property that we hunt on up here, I know every bit of it, all the landowners around it, and all know what we're doing. And I guess we did have one mishap, but it really wasn't really an accident or anything. We had some trespassers come in on us after I spent about an hour and a half getting this blind guy out. And he was a 20-year-old kid out of Alabama. Him and his brother were twins, and they were both blind since birth.
Wow.
And this kid looked at me, grabbed me, and said, "Hey," he goes, "This sitting in these blinds and all that is cool and everything, but," he goes, "I want to hunt like you would hunt." And I was like, "Oh, wow." I was like, I don't know about all that." And he goes, "Well, where would you go if I wasn't here?" And I'm like, "Man, down in the big thickets, get down in there. It's gun season. They're hiding." I was like, "Yeah, get down in there and get with him." He goes, "That's what I want to do, Scott. Come on, let's go." So I took him, man. It took me an hour and a half to get him, camera equipment, the tripod, the weapon, everything. I'm carrying all that stuff, and got him down in there, and we never missed a beat. By golly, he never missed a beat. And we got down in there, got to sit down, and then here come two guys in blaze orange up through the private property that we're hunting on. And they were a long ways from the property line. And I wasn't very happy with them because we'd worked pretty hard to get in there. And, that's dangerous, man. I can't have that kind of stuff. So I try to keep law enforcement all on the good side. All the law enforcement guys in our area, conservation officers and local sheriff's deputies all know me. And we try to keep it as safe as we can. And if I need them, I'll just give them a call, And in that instance there, I didn't need them. I told them they were across the line and they needed to move along. And they did. But it's still very dangerous. If something happens to me out there or one of my guides out there, there sits this blind gentleman with nobody to get him out of there or really knows exactly where he's at,
Turn ugly.
So
And
we got to cross our I's or dot our I's and cross our T's there.
Sure.
that's one thing that we take very seriously, is knowing where everyone is hunting. We send them to designated places. If they move out of that designated place, they let somebody know where they're moving to.
Well, you should use something like HuntStand. This way you ping yourself when you get to your destination and everybody in the group knows where you are.
Yeah, and that's technology that we're looking into. Right now, we're just using text messages, and basically everyone that goes to the property knows pretty much everything about the property. That's one thing that we want is someone that's experienced enough to be able to navigate and lead these people around comfortably to where we don't have to worry about them.
That goes back to my hunts lasting 5 days thing too. When I bring in new people, I can take them and show them a property. They got a day to kind of get used to it or two, and then they know where they're going.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it all kind of plays together. So
Now you have a TV show also.
well, we got a YouTube channel we've been messing around with. Me and Drew have acquired quite a bit of footage, and it is in the works. We are going to bring it out one of these days. We've got a lot on our plate right now. I can't really get to that. So we just kind of put out what we can on social media and YouTube a little bit just to put some stuff out. But we do have some good stuff filmed, and we do want to share that with everybody. So, but that's an expense we don't really need right now because we're trying to get this thing really rolling where we can do more hunts and more for these guys that really deserve it out there.
Absolutely. So where can we find you guys, and where can people volunteer, and where can they donate?
All of that's on our website, connect-outdoors.org. They can go right on there and you can do everything on there. Drew, bless his heart, has been working on that very vigilantly lately, and he's got her done. And pretty much, well, I don't think it'll ever be done. It's a work in progress always, how that stuff is. But yeah, you can go on there and check us out on the website. You can look us up on Facebook, Instagram, all that as well. So.
All right. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on, and I appreciate all that you do. It takes a very special person to do what you're doing, and it's very much appreciated.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having us, man. Good to see
Yeah,
you.
appreciate
Always.
All right. Don't forget to go to their site, donate. If you want to volunteer your services. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast.
See ya.
All right. Thanks again.
All right, buddy. See you.
Hang on.